Thank you so much for joining us for Parenting Unscripted today. I am your host, Katie Collett, and joining me today is a very special guest. This is Jessica Williams. She is an LPN and international board certified lactation consultant at Chesapeake Regional. Jessica, thank you so much for taking the time today.
Thank you for having me.
I am super excited to talk about this because I think it's so important for women and also their spouses, their significant others to learn about breastfeeding.
Yes.
It's something that's really special. I mean, I did it for a little while and I thought it was wonderful. So first of all, let's talk a little bit about your background. What made you decide you wanted to become a certified lactation consultant, and what exactly do you do?
So I have always been in women's health, and I was involved on the mother baby unit as a nurse, and I kind of took on the responsibility of doing childbirth classes and breastfeeding classes. And I was lucky enough at that time to have someone who said, hey, let's look at the board certification to become a lactation consultant. And so they pushed me through. I did the requirements at the time, and that was back some time ago. That was in 2012. And so I did the steps to become a breastfeeding certified lactation consultant.
And so what exactly do you do to help the moms through this time? Like, what is, when you go into their room, or do you go to their home? How does it work?
We are in the hospital. So we're with moms immediately after delivery, and we can actually see them before delivery to kind of get them comfortable with what's going to happen. And then we are with them every step of the way, the entire time they're with inpatient in the hospital.
And so what are some of the things that when you go into the room, are there certain strategies, or how exactly do you help them to get it just right?
So they are their most vulnerable. They've just gone through labor. It may have gone different ways for them. Their every journey is different. So really just meeting that mom where she is and kind of saying, okay, this is who we are. This is what we do. What are your expectations? And sometimes they're just kind of like, you tell me what to do.
Right.
So we just kind of introduce what to expect this first 24 hours and how we're there to help you every step of the way.
And so what are some of the things that you do when you're in there to help? I know when I gave birth, I had a lactation consultant come in, and I learned all these different, like there was a football hold, and there were so many different holds and ways to hold the baby that I never in a million years would have thought. And then it's kind of like you do sort of find your favorite hold and what works best for him or her, and it's pretty interesting.
You do. It's coming in and introducing them to the hold, because in the hospital, we kind of go with that football hold or that cross cradle hold. And because so many women see that traditional cradle hold from pictures, from friends and those kind of things. And that goes really easy once we get home and breastfeeding's established. But it's a little bit aggressive in the room. So we kind of have to teach them positions, and we got to really get that baby to its destination point.
Yeah.
And so it's getting those moms comfortable. And, for the first time mom holding that head and getting them in position and kind of moving them to the breast, it's a lot for them.
Right.
So they're just coming from delivery and then having to get comfortable with, breastfeeding and getting that baby to the breast. And then the behaviors of a newborn immediately after delivery. That's a challenge in itself too.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And I remember being a new mom, and you want to get it right. If you're going to try breastfeeding, you want to get it right, but that baby is hungry and they want to eat now. And I remember trying to get him latched. And for me, I honestly, it was fairly easy for me, but I remember there were moments I would just start sweating because I was trying to get him right. And I was panicking because he's crying and I knew he was hungry, and all I wanted was him to have it right. And I was like, I need someone there to just make this work.
Yes. Yes.
How does it work?
You feel so out of control. And when they're born, it's like, you love on them and you hug them, but the only thing you feel like you can do for them is feed them.
Yes.
So when breastfeeding's not going the way you think it should, or you're frustrated, or you're just not sure, and that baby's just a little spicy, then sometimes we can have that issue. And so we are 100% a cheerleader. I'm there to meet you where you are, talk you off that ledge, and tell you that everything's going to be okay, and that these are normal behaviors, and that this is going to pass. It's going to be okay. We're going to get those feeds in. But really just encouraging that mom that this is going to get better.
Yeah. And it does. I mean, again, for me, I did feel like my son latched fairly quickly, so that was great. But that having the lactation consultant there really was, I mean, I can even hear it talking to you right now. You just have an automatic calming voice, which even now I'm like, oh, I kind of want you like during the mornings when we're anchoring the shows and it's a tough day. But, you know, it's just having that really calming resource there. Because once you as the mom calms down, it's like the baby calms down as well.
They do. They feed off your energy.
Yeah.
And so just having to tell that mom, like, okay, we've got this. This is our plan. This is what we're going to do. We're going to meet together every single feed if you want to. Yeah. I'm at your disposal whenever you need me, and we're going to get through this together. And just normal newborn behaviors, you know, how they act the first 24 hours is very different from how they are at 48 hours of life. So just really working together that first 24 hours.
What do you do when you talk to moms about storing their milk? Do you start to teach them ways to properly pump or different methods?
Yeah, we meet them where they are. So we have some moms that want to exclusively pump when they come in. They don't want to latch. So we provide them with one of our hospital grade pumps at the bedside and get them going on their process. And we have a storage refrigerator that's in our NICU nursery that we can properly store their milk for them and keep them. And we just tell them about the storage that they'll need to use. And there's a nice book that we provide them with that actually has QR codes to videos and active pictures. Yeah. And it tells them about the storage and how long it'll last.
Now, is it true that you want to try to use the hospital grade machines if and when you can because they're more powerful, or
they just have a better substantiating, pull to them. They just do a little bit better. And so we really try to encourage them to use ours. We'll help you with yours. We'll get you, comfortable with doing it. But let's work with the hospital grade pump, especially for our babies that need a little bit more TLC. They may be in our NICU for some time. Those moms need that hospital grade pump to really bring their milk in to become successful. Their pumps that they have at home will be great in the weeks to come, but initially we want that hospital grade pump.
And you said that's to help express more milk or to build the supply?
Yeah, build the supply, because we'll have moms that'll call into us and they'll just say, I'm just not getting what I was. Like when I'm pumping, it's not there. And so we actually have the hospital grade pumps for rent. And so we can provide them with a true hospital grade pump. And they're like, oh, I'm getting so much more milk than I was before. Like I notice a real difference.
When we come back, we're going to take a quick break here, but when we come back, I want to talk to you about strategies for returning to work. I remember what my life was like returning to work, trying to anchor a newscast and pump in like a 27-minute time span with a microphone on and an IFB in my ear, hearing the whole show. So I know it's different for everybody, but I really want to get your take on that and advice for moms as they return. So everyone just stick with us for a moment. We're going to be right back with Jessica. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Parenting Unscripted. I am your host, Katie Collett. Thank you so much for sticking with us today. We have Jessica Williams, who is an LPN and international board certified lactation consultant at Chesapeake Regional. She is spending some valuable time with us, giving a lot of advice and some kind of behind the scenes look at what it's like to do her job and how she's helping new moms have the most success when it comes to breastfeeding. And Jessica, I distinctly remember when I returned to work after 9 weeks, and it was 9 weeks, and that's a story in itself. But I would have loved to have been able to take so much time, but here we are in the United States, and I was breastfeeding. And my supply did not last long, so I probably could have used you in this. What do you say to moms when they are trying to return to work or getting in that mindset of returning to work and they know they're going to have to pump there?
Believe it or not, within the first 24 hours of delivery, their very first question is, I'm going back to work. What do I do? Mm-hmm. And it's just, they plan for it from the beginning. It's like you almost don't get to enjoy that 12 weeks off because you're immediately thinking about going back to work. So we just kind of let them know, like, hey, what is your pump? What do you have? What are you looking for? How are things at work? What is your situation? Are you on air and you're having to do things at a really fast pace? Are you, able to take some breaks? Just different things. What are the requirements and expectations? Because, as women, we want to breastfeed and do that, but we want to be top tier at our job.
Right.
We want to be able to come right back where we were. So it's just kind of letting them know you can do both. We can set you up for success with this, and just kind of making sure sure that you have a pump that's appropriate for you. If you don't have a pump, how can you get one through insurance? We work with you to be able to contact for that.
Yep.
And then once you start with the pumping, what's your plan for going back? All moms are going to have a little bit of a dip in supply. So when they first go back, that adjustment period, it's not the same pull as latching with the breast. The pump is different. It's mechanical. So just letting them know that it's okay. You're going to see that dip, but we can get you back up to where you need to be.
I know at Wavy, I mean, they were fantastic about taking me off of the shows to, you know, to be able to pump. They have a whole room set up. And now, you know, this is 11, 12 years later, they have an even greater room now. You know, everything improves over the years. So they were really supportive in that. What should people look for or even maybe ask for at their places of employment to try to help support their goals when it comes to breastfeeding?
Definitely that, you know, this is my plan. Breastfeeding has been going well. I want to continue with this. I want to work with the pump. So what availability do I have? You know, we certainly want, if you're in the classroom, we want to be able to get you to a room that's going to facilitate pumping, a calm time, a good 20, 25 minute session that you can just kind of prepare yourself, think about baby, look at pictures of baby if you have it, just to kind of get you in that mode to produce more milk, you know, that we're not stressed at the time. So what availability do you have for me? What locations do we have? And that's not wrong to go ahead and start asking those questions during pregnancy. You know, this is my plan when I come back. What availability do I have? You know, long gone are the times when women were in bathrooms, you know, pumping and really cramming things in. Jobs are the employers have been so amazing at giving them, you know, women the facilities to be able to pump like they want to.
Oh yeah. And thank goodness. I distinctly remember, and not here at Wavy, but I was elsewhere and I had to pump in a bathroom.
Yes.
And I reflected on something that I saw online where someone was like, it was basically like if you would take your steak dinner on a toilet and eat it in the bathroom. Like that's what you feel like you're doing if you have to pump sitting on a toilet.
Yes.
That's not what you want your brand new baby who you're trying to keep as germ-free as possible.
Yes.
You don't want them to experience that.
No, and just telling them, you know, that you can be both. I think we put so much pressure on ourselves, and coming back to work, you can do both things seamlessly.
Right.
You know, because they start to try to cram in pump sessions anytime that they can, and you feel so pressure to make the milk, and then you feel pressure to perform at work. And so it's just that these can be cohesive.
Yeah, that's very true. And I'll tell you what, as a new mom, I distinctly remember, I mean, yes, I came back after 9 weeks, but when I walked into this building and I had my pump with me and I knew I was going to go anchor the shows and I'm still a brand new mom, I was like, wait a minute, am I Superwoman?
Yes.
I think I'm Superwoman because I created a whole human.
Yes.
Now I'm back at work. And it was such an incredible and empowering feeling, even knowing in, you know, a 25-minute time span of pumping that I was still able to do the mom stuff while balance that out with the work stuff.
Yeah. We do amazing things.
Yeah. It's true. It's very, very true. I know that you had said, you know, take a look at pictures of baby when you're in the room. Should you have music playing, or like what is it about having a more relaxed sense that helps with pumping?
You're more relaxed. So we talked about that initial 24 hours where moms are just so, you know, worried about feeding and what can I do and is this going correctly? Those kind of things. So baby senses that stress, and when you're at work and you're pumping and you're going through those same motions, your body's stressed. So we need you relaxed. You know, you can put photos of your baby on your pump. Yeah. You become a master of that pump. You know how to work it. You know how to get the best yield from it and do really well with it. But just having that calm time, it needs to be a, you know, offbeat situation where you're not, you know, in the classroom, you're not with patients, you're not doing anything, you're not on air. Right. You know, you're doing those things to become successful and just kind of sitting to yourself, having a moment. Even if you want to have a good bottle of water with you, have your drink cup with you so that you're staying hydrated and just kind of relaxed.
Man, I'll tell you what, hydration and having that snack, I did not realize, even though I took a breastfeeding class before, you know, the person who was teaching it was wonderful and said, you know, you're going to be hungry. Always have maybe a Nutri-Grain bar and a water.
Yes.
I did not realize how hungry you actually became.
It is.
You just burn so many calories.
You burn so many calories. And it's really, you burn about 300 calories, but the way that makes you feel and the hunger and thirst that you feel. And, you know, it's not a direct correlation between, you know, the milk out and water intake in, but baby's going to pull from you regardless, and you will become dehydrated.
Yeah.
So So, can you have a cup of coffee in the morning? Absolutely. Less than 3% of that caffeine travels. You can have that coffee in the morning.
That's good.
But supplement it. Yeah. Supplement it with water or some type of, drink coconut water, body armors, any of those things to kind of combat that dehydration, and eat.
Yes.
Eat.
I distinctly remember I was a little lightheaded at one point. I said to my husband, I just don't feel very well. Unfortunately, my husband is a rock star.
Yeah.
So he was out of that room so fast and came back with a snack. And then he would almost always have something by the bed for me when I would get the baby and come back and sit down in bed to feed. He always had a snack or something by the bed, knowing that I was, doing all these other things. So I really think too, having a supportive partner, if you're blessed enough to have that at home, is
absolutely
crazy helpful.
Absolutely. And we want to see that. A lot of times the question that we get from dads in the room or significant others is, what can I do, to help? Because they're not breastfeeding, they're like, she's doing all the work. But it's like, at nighttime, let her feed that baby. And then you take the baby and change a diaper and re-swaddle and put the baby down. Because then she's just focused on the, 20, 25-minute feed, and she can lay back down and go to sleep. Bring that snack, get some water, just sit up with her while she's feeding at night. You can do so much just to have that support so you don't feel like, because moms are like, I feel a little alone in this, and that's a normal and okay feeling to feel. But, they can support you in that way, just sitting with you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's a nice way too for dad or for your partner to be able to bond with the baby in that way as well, even if it's just a matter of picking them up and taking the baby to the mom, or changing that diaper so you can still have that touch and, let the baby know that, hey, I'm here too. I'm a part of your life as well. Because I know when I was breastfeeding, there were times, it's not that I felt bad, but I knew that my husband really would want to be included. And I mean, in the beginning, there's not a whole lot that they can do. No. So it is very helpful. I want to talk more when we come back from this next break, obviously about the importance of breastfeeding and the resources that you also have at Chesapeake Regional, because I know you have a lot of great stuff for everybody. We're going to talk about that in just one moment. But a big thank you to Jessica Williams for taking the time to chat with us today. We're going to be back in just a moment. Welcome back to Parenting Unscripted. I am your host, Katie Collett, and joining me today once again for this final portion is Jessica Williams, LPN and International Board Certified Lactation Consultant. So Jessica, we've been talking about so many things about breastfeeding, but I think it's always very important to explain why breastfeeding is so important to the health of the baby and mom.
Very much so. So, for the first 6 months of life, baby has mom's immunity. But what is really neat, and I'll tell a mom when I come in and say, what's magical about what you're doing is that, say I have a little bit of a cough or a cold, something coming up that's not quite out yet. And I've exposed the baby to it because I've been helping you. I've been with baby. When baby latches, a tiny little bit of that saliva goes in and it mixes, and mom sees what I've exposed baby to and automatically starts to produce antibodies to fight off what I've done. Yeah. So it's magical. It's antibacterial, antimicrobial, antifungal. There's so many properties to it. Even at the end, moms are like, I have so much milk left over. Put it in the bathtub. Put it in the bathtub. If we've got eczema going on, if we've got diaper rash going on, put some of that breast milk on there with all its properties to really help heal.
That's crazy to hear you say that. That's such an interesting thing. I never would have thought of that. I know a friend of mine said that, her baby had a newborn baby had gunk in their eyes, and they were concerned that there might be some sort of pink eye. And she put breast milk in the baby's eye and done. It was done.
Done. It's magic. It's magical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is it that I'm trying to think of what we always say about it. It's like, liquid gold.
Yes.
It's like liquid gold. It's invaluable.
Don't cry over spilled milk. Does not pertain to breast milk.
I have literally cried over spilled milk when it's breast milk, because I've dropped it on my kitchen floor before and then just been a disaster.
Yes.
It's work to get that.
It is
so valuable. And so, it benefits baby, but it does also benefit the moms strong too, right? When it comes to, the contracting and getting everything back to normal.
Yeah. Well, we give medicine to make the uterus contract, to go back down to normal, to minimize bleeding, things like that.
Yeah.
But naturally, breastfeeding and latching causes that uterus to contract, because you have to warn a mom and say, hey, while you're feeding, things are going really well, but you're getting ready to feel contractions again. And sometimes they'll have a little excess bleeding that helps, but that uterus is contracting and things are going back down to normal where they're supposed to be. Yeah. It's like an innate, when they breastfeed, then breast milk has a little bit of a laxative effect in the beginning. Mm-hmm. So they're able to actually have more stools than what we even look for. And so we can actually minimize our risk with jaundice, with all that excess, pooping and getting those things out. So we release that bilirubin. So it's really magical. It's very medicinal, the properties for breastfeeding.
Yeah. And that's what babies need. They just need everything. You don't want a baby that has a bellyache. You want everything to keep moving, and then baby's happy, you're happy, and everybody's happy.
Yes.
Let's talk about what Chesapeake Regional offers and what you offer. Is there anything that really stands out that you're really proud of there, that you want moms to know that you can give to them and help them through this process?
So many things. So we just became on the national registry. We earned the National Care Award, the IBCLC International Board Certified Lactation Consultant Award.
Congratulations.
Thank you. We are on the registry for 2 years with some other great facilities, but it really promotes, supports, and works with moms to make sure that their breastfeeding journey is where it's supposed to be. Yeah. And I think what we do at Chesapeake is we meet you where you are. So we're not going in with preconceived notions. We're not going in with our own experiences. We're not going in expecting you to be at a certain place. Where do you want to be? What's your, journey going to be like? Do you want to exclusively pump? Do you want to breast and bottle feed? We're going to do the best thing that we can to meet you there. Mm-hmm. We have a team of 4 lactation consultants. So we have 3 that are during the day, and we have a full-time night lactation consultant.
Oh, wow.
Yes. And if it's going to go down, it's going to go down at 3 a.m.
Always.
Always.
That's 100. Coming from someone who wakes up at 2 a.m., I know.
Yes. That's when things are going to happen. Down. So potential, if you're there with us during the day and she's with you at night, that's 24 hours of continued lactation care. And it is immense to those moms that they get what they need. But we're there 7 days a week. And then once you leave us, it's not over. So at Chesapeake Regional, you can call the hospital, ask for lactation, and they're going to forward you to our office. We call everybody back by the end of the day. Let's triage what's going on with you. Let's get you in for a consult. We can do all of those things to facilitate your journey. 2 weeks from now, 6 months from now, medicinal questions that you have, pumping questions. Once you go back to work, like we talked about, let's kind of run through that again, because it was so long ago since we talked about it. Yeah, so it's really nice.
It is amazing, the support and the free support, because once you're gone, you can call back and say, wait a minute, I still need help with this. And you all are right there to give that boost. And mentally, that makes all the difference in the world. Just
to hear us, just to talk to us and say, you're on the right journey. Things are going great. When they call us, they're at their wits' end. Yeah. We're available to them to call quickly, but it's almost as women, we try to navigate what's going to happen. And so you call us at the end, and they're just at the end of their rope. So it's just supporting them and talking them off the ledge that everything's going to be okay. I can't tell you the amount of conversations I've had where they're just in tears and they're so upset, and it's like, we're going to be okay. We're going to work through this.
We're going to get it. No doubt about it. You also have classes before baby.
We do. Yeah. We have breastfeeding classes that are offered every month, and they're actually taught by one of us. So you meet with us ahead of time, which also can ease fears. To see a face and to know that you're probably going to see me, the probability is pretty good that you're going to see me once in that journey, maybe more, is just really nice. And it just kind of gets them going, where we ask them, surely it's a class, you want to get them the information that they need, but also, what are your questions? You've got me in a room, you tell me what you need, I'm going to answer your questions to get you prepared.
Is there any one thing that you would, if you could glean one thing from your experience of doing this for so many years, that you would want moms and their partners to know when it comes to breastfeeding? And I realize that is a very wide open question. But is there anything where you're like, this is the one thing I really want to drive home for moms and for parents?
to just come in with an open mind. Just know that every journey is different. And sometimes when we really prepare and plan for what we want to happen, things go far left. And so it's like, okay, let's work together. And, knowing that the first 24 hours of life, all we're looking for is one good feed. And that's roughly 5 to 7 minutes. We may attempt all day long and get that feed in the first 24 hours, and it's been successful. And then probably the other thing would be practice at home. Get a teddy bear, get a pillow, get a baby, anything that you can get, and try these positions. Look up the research of football hold and cross cradle hold and kind of get familiar with those and holding that baby. Especially, some women have never held a baby before when they come in with their first. And every baby's different. We have moms that come in, it's the fourth baby, and they'll tell you quickly that all four are very different. So it's just kind of coming in with an open mind that, we can make this journey happen, but it is a process.
Yep. And it can be done, and it can be done so well.
Yes.
Jessica, thank you so much for taking the time to come in today. It was such a special conversation and such an important topic. We certainly appreciate you.
Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. And everyone, thank you so much for joining us today. Remember, new episodes of Parenting Unscripted air every Tuesday morning at 9 o'clock. I sure hope you enjoyed this conversation, and we will see you next time.